What's up, Bengal fans? Check the graphic. We're going to the ship. We're going to the ship championship, Super Bowl bound. Cincinnati Bengals headed to Super Bowl 56. If you can believe it, their opponent still to be determined between the Rams and the 49ers. They are duking it out right now. But the Cincinnati Bengals, can you believe it? They are headed to the Super Bowl. They have had three either come from behind or last minute type of wins. Of course, the graphic that I'm sharing is from the Keanu Reeves movie, Hardball, great movie there. So I thought it was appropriate based on everything that through as a fan base, and you got to celebrate. I'm not even at my house. I'm in a different kind of Bengals man cave. I'm in my nephew's bedroom, but he's got the Bengal bug. If you see all the stuff here, regardless, the Cincinnati Bengals are headed to the Super Bowl in an incredible win over the Kansas City Chiefs, overcoming an 18-point deficit, the largest deficit in a conference championship game. They come back to beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead and get themselves a ticket to Los Angeles to get to the Super Bowl. Unbelievable performance. By the way, I know I have like a virtual live audience, but I've also got like another that's one of our family friends, Frank. He's like, dude, you podcast, you do all this stuff. He wanted to see how the sausage is made, so to speak. So he's like sitting here staring me down as I'm recording this. I don't even care. I mean, I'm glad he's here. I'm glad you're here, Frank. But I don't even care. But the point is, the Cincinnati Bengals beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead and get themselves to the Super Bowl.
They're going to Los Angeles.
They are going to Los Angeles, Frank.
Stadium in LA.
Yeah, and Frank might be going with me here. We're talking about it. We're figuring out tickets, and the ticket prices are a little outrageous right now. It doesn't even really matter. We'll figure it out regardless. I can't even believe that we are, as a podcast, are doing this episode. And yes, I say we, not just me. We are doing this episode because all of you make this happen. And the Cincinnati Bengals have come up with an incredible season. Yes, Brian and IOICU saying wish Chris Wesling would have seen this. NFL contributor Chris Wesling unfortunately passed away last year. Big Bengals guy, and was obviously disenchanted with things that had happened with the Bengals over the years. But obviously now things are changing. Here's the thing: down 18 points. The Cincinnati Bengals had, and we're going to go over the box score. We're going to go over a couple of different things. We're going to keep this not, unfortunately, I've got, fortunately too, but there are some things going on, a birthday party and whatnot. I had to tear away from it to celebrate with all of you, but I want to go be a part of that with my family and whatnot. So we're not going to be going as long as last week and bringing you all on. We've got a lot of shows coming up over the next couple of weeks that will allow you to come on the show and do that. But regardless, the fortitude, the mental toughness of this team, which is something that you and I could not have said for so many years about the Cincinnati Bengals. So many years. The mental fortitude for them to be able to come back in a game like this against that opponent on their home field and come back and win that game, absolutely incredible. The mental fortitude to get to that game with the two postseason games preceding this one, and in the fashion that they won those games and the teams that they beat to get to this game, unbelievable. Truly a special season. There are still some people, I know, my buddy Frank over here is saying that some of his buddies, didn't you say that some of your buddies are saying this was a lucky thing by the Bengals, Frank?
They said lucky and wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Lucky. They're still doubting this team. They are still doubting this team with a win over the Raiders at home, getting that road playoff game against the number 1 seed against the Tennessee Titans, and of course, getting the win on the road again against those Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, etc. Look,
who do we want, 49ers or Rams?
That's a good question. I think the nostalgic Bengals fans, probably for the storylines, want the 49ers. There's also some cool storylines too, though, if the Rams make it, because there's Andrew Whitworth on that team. Matthew Stafford, kind of tenured veteran and a guy that has done a lot of different things in the NFL, a guy who was playing for a franchise that was not very good. And then you've got, of course, the Sean McVay, Zach Taylor connection and all of that. So, I mean, I think either way would be a good a good matchup, a fun matchup. And I know the Rams pass rush is daunting. I know that they've got some issues. They would present some issues for the Bengals, but the Bengals just this year's team at least seems to be able to overcome literally anything. 9 sacks against Tennessee in Tennessee, not a big deal. We'll kick a last-minute field goal. Not going our way and down 3 possessions in the first half on the road against the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. No worries. We got it. We'll take care of it in 2+ quarters, including overtime, and get the win and get out of there to the Super Bowl. So I think either way, and from not only the historical standpoint of the Bengals versus the 49ers in the Super Bowl, I also would think that what happened a couple of months ago between the Bengals and the 49ers, that game went to overtime. It did not go the Bengals' way, but that game went to overtime. Very exciting game. I think right now that's kind of the matchup that most Bengals fans would want, Frank, I think. But for now,
I'm going for LA.
Yeah, I know.
I think LA.
He wants the Rams. This guy wants the Rams. I don't know. I don't know.
Be a pretty good matchup.
I don't know if I agree with it, but it'd be fun. A lot of offense.
Something new.
A lot of offense. By the way, Frank's joining us. He's from out of town. He is a pilot for one of the most prominent airlines. We've already got a beer ad in the back. I don't know how many of these big name companies we can name without being properly sponsored, but he is a pilot for a big name airline, and he's a good dude. So he's in town from out of town, and we're happy to have him with us. Stuart Monty with the generous YouTube chat. Thank you, Stuart, and thank you for the continued support of the program. Generous super chat. Who day? Nobody. Out of all those great moments, which moment got you the most excited, AC? And hi, Frank. You got a hi, Frank. First time on the show. Hey, first time on the show, he gets a hi, Frank.
14 years of watching them with these.
Yeah, guys. Actually, I gotta say, Frank watched a couple, I think, of the old playoff games, the Andy Dalton playoff games with us, and he experienced a lot. And I'm surprised he actually still wants to come and watch games with us after our reactions
tell him about the rug.
So, okay, yes. Before we get to X's and O's, Frank stood on this specific Bengals. We have this my brother has his Bengals man cave in his garage, and there's a specific Bengals rug, and Frank kind of huddled on this rug, stood on this same rug for most of the game, and almost every single, if you want to be superstitious about it, every single good thing that the Bengals were able to do, that was kind of Frank staying on the rug. We had to go get him his drinks. We had to go.
So Frank will be on the rug Super Bowl Sunday.
Right, yes.
Frank will not leave that rug.
Frank will be on the rug Super Bowl Sunday for sure. So thanks, Stuart. I appreciate that. In terms of, you had asked in terms of moments, I don't know if you meant that game, this season, whatever. I will just kind of narrow that down to this game. And I will say, you know what? There were a couple of Joe Burrow third down conversion runs, broken plays that did not, it looked like the Bengals were against the ropes. And that quarterback, their quarterback, who seems to say, get on my back, I will carry us to a win. He literally did that a couple of runs and was able to catapult the Bengals by a couple of plays to the Super Bowl on those plays. And they were not runs for touchdowns or anything like that. There were a couple of errant throws, one of which was picked off, one of which could have been picked off late in the second half. And, a couple of errant throws, but he fought through that. The team fought through that, and they got the win. So, those are today. I mean, I know there's Evan McPherson. I know there's the defense's second half performance. We'll talk about that. I know there's T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and Burrow and all of that, but really Burrow and running and showing that grit. By the way, unsung hero, maybe even MVP, Joe Mixon, really, really tough running today. And when everybody was gassed at the end of the game, including the Chiefs defense in that overtime, you saw it. And you saw what 28 can do when a tired defense goes up against him and he gets ahead of steam, and this team is, kind of playing inspired ball at that point. So thank you, Stuart. Appreciate that. And we've got another super chat here from DTW Jungle in his second year. Who day? I said this to somebody earlier, not even his full second year, really. I mean, if you look at the games that he missed as a rookie, it's not even his full second year for Joe Burrow. And I think we have a special appearance from, you got to hold it up and show it now, Frank. Just show it. This is the good luck rug here that he was standing on for most of the game there in the garage that brought the Bengals good luck. But yes, in his second year, yes. And by the way, I know there are a lot of upset Chiefs fans out there. I know there may be some gripes about whatever. There were calls that could or should have been made or not made against both teams in this one. The referees seem to let a lot of contact go in the secondary between wide receivers and secondary players. But if you're a Chiefs fan and you are pretty upset about this loss, I would be. I would say this. Yes, I would be upset about it, but I don't fret because this is probably a postseason matchup that's going to be an annual thing, whether it's the conference championship, whether it's earlier round postseason performances and matchups. This is a matchup because of who these two quarterbacks are, Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. This is a matchup that will continue to be a postseason matchup going forward. Thank you, DTW, for the DTW Jungle for the generous super chat. We'll pin a lot of those. And yes, Houday for a lot of you saying so. We've got a couple hundred live viewers through various channels. I appreciate that. I think we have a very generous super chat from Houday. Houday, we them. $1 for every year since the Bengals since the Bengals went to the Super Bowl. Build ZT a statue, probably needing to be done at this point. And what a job by Zach Taylor. And we'll pull up the stats. We'll pull up the team stats and all of that to kind of point to it. But this was an ugly first half, obviously, for the Bengals. Really, the best thing the Bengals did, they did two things well. Evan McPherson kicked a field goal, and they got a fourth down stop, or not even a fourth stop, a stop to drain the clock from their defense to end the half without points being made. I don't understand that play call from the Chiefs. I know they're aggressive. I know analytics tell you this, that, and the other thing. 5 seconds left on the clock. You're at your own 1-2 yard line. You kind of feel like kick the three, go in at half. I know you wanted that touchdown to really put things away. And hindsight is 2020, but really those are the two things that went the Bengals' way that first half. Everything else, they were getting run over by the run game. They were getting gashed in the passing game. They weren't really doing much on offense. It was one field goal and one stop on defense right before the half because of questionable play calling and somewhat poor clock management, if you want to call it that, by the Kansas City Chiefs. And that momentum rolled right into the second half. And the Bengals never looked back. 2 times that the Bengals have faced the Kansas City Chiefs, 2 times they had an 11-point deficit in the first game, and they had an 18-point deficit in this one. Both times, the Cincinnati Bengals defense in the second half only allowed 3 points each game. 3 points. And in this one, it was 3 points. It was, I believe, 3 or 4 sacks. It was a forced fumble and 2 interceptions, all forced in the second half off Patrick Mahomes. Incredible adjustments by Lou Anarumo. Incredible adjustments on offense. And I said this in the winners and losers on CincyJungle.com. I don't know if it got posted yet or not because I took the air here, but here's the thing with this. We can complain about some of the early down runs and not the lack of yielding big plays on those runs and all kinds of different things from Joe Mixon, poor blocking and whatnot. But that set up things later. That set things up later for the team on offense when they decided to, you know what, we got to get these drives. We're finally scoring points on offense. They've scored their points. We're finally scoring points on offense, and we need to sustain drives. We need to keep our defense off the field. We need to be able to keep that offense, that Kansas City offense, off the field and use Joe Mixon here and there. Yes, it was on Joe Burrow and his arm. Yes, it was on Joe Burrow and scrambling for some first downs timely in the second half. But when you looked at overtime, when they needed those tough yards, when they needed to get some extra plays to make that a very, very makeable field goal in overtime to get the win, Joe Mixon was the guy. They leaned on him, and you can kind of see some of the intelligence of setting up the run for later in the game, especially as the Bengals ended up getting the win. So You got to like that. And then here you go right here, John Tully. Thank you for the super chat here. Where can we get those rugs? If it helps the Bengals, I want one. I think online, actually. I didn't buy the thing. So yeah, maybe Amazon. Maybe Amazon. I don't know. Everything's on Amazon. So
but this is the original one.
It is an OG one. So
let's go Frank.
I don't know if I need to like snip carpet fibers and mail them out to people or what I need to do there. But go.
This one was built in 1981.
Well, no, it's not.
It's
the newer logo. It's not 1981.
It has some wear and tear.
Well, maybe I don't know. It's not.
From the 80s.
It's not 80s. The logo's too new for it to be 80s. But we'll let Frank do his deal. Here's. Let's do this. Let's go into the box score to show things because again, tale of two halves, and there may be some guys with some sneaky performances that you didn't really think about. And Joe Burrow, look, 23 of 38, 250, 6.6 yards per pass, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Look at this, 1 sack. Now, Joe danced out of at least 2, if not 3 sacks to make positive plays. And so when you see that and you look at the QBR and the overall rating, that's not indicative of a lot of different things. And the 1 interception is was a biggie. He almost threw a second one, but in terms of Joe Burrow in the postseason, etc., pretty good and a lot of extending plays and the runs to net first downs. Those were huge, but only 1 sack in total. And that sack was pretty ugly because it was Isaiah Prince who also gave up a holding penalty on the sack. So it was just like a double whammy there. But at any rate, look at Joe Mixon. Just a hard-fought day. 21 carries, 88 yards, 4.2 yards per carry. And then if you go down here, 3 catches, 27-yarder, including that beautiful 18-yarder late in the game. One-hander. Joe Burrow floated one to him, 9 yards per catch. So when you look at it, basically over 100 yards from scrimmage for Joe Mixon. Burrow 5 for 25, 5 yards per carry on those, like I said, and a couple of very timely runs for first down. Jamar Chase 1 for 3. Not the banner day from Jamar Chase, but enough, including a late touchdown catch. I apologize for the background noise. There is a birthday party going on if you hear some background noise. So that's what I'm getting to after this and continuing the celebration. T. Higgins quietly. I mean, a couple of nice big catches. But did you feel like T. Higgins had 100 yards? I don't know. 6 catches, 100 yards. Just a really solid game, including the 44-yarder in the second half. 6 catches on 10 targets, though. A couple of contested catches that were not converted. Jamar Chase, 6 for 54, but the big touchdown. Long was 22. And credit Steve Spagnuolo there for really bracketing Chase and doing things differently this time around as opposed to a month ago when Chase went off for 266. And 3 scores against the Chiefs. So credit him. Samaje Perine, 3 catches, 43 yards, including the 41-yarder for the touchdown. Not much else besides the touchdown, but hey, we'll take it, right? Tyler Boyd, 4 catches, 19 yards. Drew Sample, 1 catch for 4 yards. And we are gutted for CJ Uzomah, who looks like he will not be participating in the Super Bowl, unfortunately. Seemed to suffer a significant knee injury. Carted off the field and was crying as he was carted off. One of the guys who is the heart and soul of the team. Joe Burrow's the heart, CJ Uzomah's the soul, or vice versa, whatever you want to call it. So you feel gutted for that guy, but he's going to be rooting his teammates on. And guys like Sample, guys like Boyd, other players are going to need to step up and make plays with Uzomah, especially in the middle of the field, the short field, et cetera. Going to need to make some big plays there. And then, of course, look at this. Logan Wilson, 10 tackles. Woozy, a little bit of a tough day, particularly in the first half. Pratt, 8 tackles. Hubbard, look at this game. 8 tackles, 2 sacks, and 2 quarterback hits. He also had a forced fumble. If that forced fumble was recovered, game never goes to overtime. So Hubbard with an outstanding game. And then, of course, you've got BJ Hill, who had a half sack along with Trey Hendrickson. Hendrickson had the 1.5 sacks, 4 total tackles. Good game from him. Two total quarterback hits from Hendrickson. So all this stuff is looking great. Hilton, rough start to the game, but it's only saying 1 pass defended. I thought I counted 2 there. So we'll have to check this box score and see, if they change that or whatever. But I saw that he kind of had 2 incompletions late in the second half that he was on coverage with that really helped the Bengals get off the field. DJ Reader in there as well with 3 total tackles. If you look at the other side, here's what's mind-blowing, and credit Lou Anarumo. We credit Zach Taylor, credit Darren Simmons for the special teams performance. So Mahomes had, I don't know the exact number, but it was basically in the range, I believe, of 220 or 230 in terms of 220, 230 passing yards in the first half. 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in that first half. He finished with 275, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. 4 quarterback sacks by the Bengals. And you saw some passes from Patrick Mahomes late, gimme passes, check downs, that sort of thing that he just overthrew. And so some of this stuff started to rattle him a little bit. Basically letting up what would equate to about 50 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and sacking him. I think all 4 sacks were in the second half. Have to double check that, but that's a big deal. That's a huge deal, especially Patrick Mahomes at home. That's a big deal. McKinnon had some nice runs early, finished with 12 for 65. Edwards-Helaire had some tough runs, 6 for 36. Really what they were doing is getting things, chunk yardage plays through the air, and you can see that there. Kelsey, almost 100 yards, 10 catches, 95 yards, a touchdown. Hill, 7 catches, 78 yards, a touchdown. Mecole Hardman, 3 catches, 52 yards, a touchdown. They were just gashing him through the air early, and then things just turned on its head in the second half. Not much else from the others. McKinnon had a couple of nice catches, 3 for 30. Tooney had the big recovery late to keep the Chiefs' hopes alive and send the thing to overtime with a Butker field goal. But Mahomes lost a fumble and recovered one. And look, Snead had 10 tackles. You can see a lot of the Travarius Ward, 5 tackles, another corner. Willie Gay had a pretty good game. When you look at his game, 5 tackles, 1 for loss, and 2 passes defended. But for all the issues the Bengals offensive line had, particularly I think it was Adeniji, Carmen, Adeniji, and Carmen again. And I think I have to go back. I know they swapped them out at least, 1 time each, but those guys were in and out of that lineup a lot. Prince, as I mentioned, had some issues, but down the stretch, they didn't give up the sacks. Burrow was able to get out of some would-be sacks, and they were able to make some plays to get themselves to the Super Bowl. Can we have a conversation about Evan McPherson, by the way? 12 of 12 on field goals in the postseason, including 3 from 50-plus yards, 2 of which, two game winners in total. One of those game winners was a 50-yarder against Tennessee. And then, of course, you had another 50-yarder today, the chip shot to send the Bengals to the Super Bowl. 12 of 12 for Evan McPherson, and closing in on that record by his name is escaping me at the moment, the Patriots kicker, Colts kicker, Vinatieri. I think he has the record for most postseason field goals made in a single postseason. So I think that record was at 14. Go check out the Pat McAfee show to see that cool clip to talk about that. But incredible performance by McPherson. I was saying that if the Bengals relied on McPherson to make 4 field goal attempts, I don't think that was a formula for success, because that means the Bengals weren't successful in the red zone, and the Bengals needed to be successful in the red zone, and largely they were not. So Butker hit the big 1 field goal to send them to overtime there. Decent day from Huber, decent day from Trent Taylor. So that's some of the stuff going on here with the box score. We'll hit the team stats here. Hopefully we don't have a video that yells at us like like normal here. You can see here, look at the first downs. Bengals outdueled there 21-24. Passing first downs, Chiefs got them there 17-12. Rushing first downs, Bengals have the edge there 8-6. When you look at total yards, very even, 359-375 in terms of net. Total drives, 10 and 11. And yards per play, 5.4 to 5.6. You want to talk about an evenly matched game. It really came down to who made one more defensive stop, who had the ball last. That's basically what this came down to. Passing yards, 243 to 236 in terms of net And then, of course, rushing yards 116 to 139. Bengals had 4 penalties for 30 yards, 2 penalties for 11. So if you hear Chiefs fans complaining again about penalties, they were penalized twice for 11 yards. So the excuses are done if you are a Chiefs fan. Congratulations on a great season and a hell of a football game today, but you don't have excuses in terms of penalties. You don't have excuses in terms of venue because the Bengals have beaten you twice in a matter of a month at both Cincinnati and Arrowhead Stadium. You don't have a dog in that fight. Here's the biggie right here. About 6 more minutes of time of possession for the Bengals. 35-56 to 29-42. And that's where that run game comes in to play a little bit. That's where those timely runs and extension of drives by Burrow comes into play. And that is a crucial part of this game that I think will be talked about for quite some time. Look, an incredible game from both teams. I know Chiefs fans probably aren't stoked about what happened today, but that was one of the best AFC championship games. I mean, it went to overtime and the Bengals came back and, here's a nice super chat here. Not bad for a non-Pro Bowl QB. Yes, but he was the NFL Comeback Player of the Year, Mr. Whisper. Get it right. Wow, we've got hundreds and hundreds, plural, watching us live here. Good to have all of you with us. And, of course, we've got another one here from Keeper Slim. Super Bowl champions, here we come. We'll keep that pinned for a little bit there. All in all, hard-fought game by both teams, pretty evenly matched and really a tale of two halves. The Chiefs thoroughly dominated the first half. The Bengals thoroughly dominated the second half and part of overtime. That interception in overtime was killer, and you just felt that this Bengals team, once they came back against that Kansas City team in Kansas City, down 18 points, that they were able to come back, that they were gonna be Super Bowl bound. And regardless of the result next week, and regardless of the opponent next week, we know that with Joe Burrow, with this cast of characters, this team is never going to be completely out of a game, despite the deficit, despite the situation, despite the venue. They have proven it time and time and time again this year. Over and over, they have proven it. So it's been an exciting year. It's been fun covering the team here on the Orange and Black Insider Bengals podcast, as well as on CincyJungle.com. We're going to be bringing you all kinds of different stuff.
Live from Los Angeles. Right?
Live from Los Angeles.
From Los Angeles.
Yeah.
We're going to LA.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about getting to that game. We have requested media access for Radio Row and other other interview opportunities and whatnot. No promises there, but we're hopeful that with the Bengals in it and what we do here, hopefully we get some access and bring you some cool content over the next couple of weeks here. There's going to be a lot of it. You're going to be involved. We're going to do some listener question shows. We're going to bring on guests. We're going to do all kinds of shows, continue to hammer you with content, not only on this show, but on Orange is the New Black with Ace and Zim. And of course, Coach Speak and Chalk Talk with Matt Minnick. Big win for my boy, Coach Matt Minnick. He knows what I'm talking about. And it's been a pleasure this year. It's been a pleasure. We're not talking about mock drafts. We're not talking about prospect profiles yet. We're not doing any of that stuff. We are talking about the Super Bowl and the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow, Zach Taylor, and company led them all the way to Super Bowl 56. We'll see if the third time's the charm for the Bengals in terms of a Super Bowl victory. It's going to be hard to pick against this team. And you know what? I hope that people continue to do so, because every week it seems, even with the Raiders game a little bit, there was a little bit of an underdog mentality in terms of the media and in that game. And, they weren't going to go into Tennessee and beat them. They weren't for sure going to go into this, go beat this Chiefs team in Kansas City after they just beat a great Bills team in overtime. They were not going to allow that to happen. Well, the Bengals took them to overtime and did it. So hopefully that narrative quiets, but I'm also kind of like, bring it, because that's kind of been a little bit of a rallying cry for this Bengals team here. We got a nice from my boy James Clayton. I owe you an email back, my friend. Things have been crazy, as you can imagine, but I will be emailing you back. I appreciate your email. Good to hear from you. Appreciate the donation, my friend. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, everybody who hung with this show through 2 win seasons, through 4 win seasons, and now a Super Bowl season. Can't believe we are here. Of course, if you are new here, if you're a Bengals fan that's just like, hey, give me all the content you've got, you got to keep it to cincyjungle.com for all kinds of articles on news, opinions, analysis, breaking news, all that stuff. And then, of course, you can keep it to the Cincy Jungle podcast channel on your favorite audio streamer, whether that's iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, any of the major ones. Our show is there. Ace and Zim's Orange is the New Black is there. Coach Speak and Chalk Talk from Matt Minnick is there. We're on YouTube. If you're stumbling on this YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe. The icon's down there. Click that, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when we go live, when new content is available. Give this a thumbs up. Even if you don't like the video, it's cool. I understand. But if you're stoked that the Bengals are making a Super Bowl, give us a thumbs up. We appreciate it. It helps our show out a little bit, helps our channel out a little bit, and we like it. So yeah, and yes, go buy the good luck rug. Frank said, yeah, I can't. I don't know that I can get that from my. I don't know if I can get the angle down there, but
sandals on the rug.
Yeah,
going to
go.
LA.
There you go. There you go.
On the rug, drink beer.
That's right.
We're gonna win this one.
All right, Frank's coming with me to SoFi. We're gonna. So if any of you are going to SoFi, I'm gonna try and make it happen. The tickets, I checked the tickets. They're a little high. If any of you make it to SoFi, though, let me know. We'll try and link up, whether it's in SoCal or whatever. So I know ifs and no ifs, ands, or buts. We're there. We're there. Hey, I see here my friend Jason Von Stein. I have not been able to pay attention to it because I've been doing this show. Jason Von Stein says San Fran is winning 10-7 at the half. That's who I have winning it. I know you want the Rams, Frank. I know.
Yeah, tell them to go home and eat their brie and their sourdough bread. We want the LA Rams. We got a better shot.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. But hey, take it easy, everybody. Enjoy this win. Be safe. Have fun. And we'll be bringing you all kinds of different stuff here on the Orange and Black Insider and, of course, on cincyjungle.com. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. The Bengals are in the Super Bowl. Can you believe it? I can't. Take care.